Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your past, present, and future reading. I like to start with the present first, though. We have our major arcana for the present, which is rebuild. Rebuild. So you're rebuilding something. I don't know what you're rebuilding, but you're rebuilding something. To me, this would be the traditional Tower card of the tarot. And it says the dynamics of a relationship can often be complicated. The longer you've been in a relationship, the more complex it can be. Relationships begin to grow many layers, consisting of joys, sorrows, honesty, and duplicity. As these layers build on top of each other, it becomes increasingly difficult to know what the core of the relationship is based on. So, whoever you were dealing with, well, this is a present card, so whoever you are dealing with could have a lot of layers to them. This person could have a lot of layers. And it's important to get to the core of the relationship to see what the relationship is based on. Is it based on money? Is it based on codependency? Is it based on, just doing one activity together? What is the core of the relationship? Okay. So, what was once love may now appear to be merely tolerance or worse. Okay. Even in good relationships, you may find yourself growing apart from the other person. In either case, the weight of these layers can cause a relationship to collapse. Now may be a good time to start fresh with one or more of your relationships. Peel off the layers one by one, cut away any pretense, and see what may be revealed. Find the core of the relationship and decide if it's still what you want and what you find attractive. If so, then discard the old layers and consciously create a new commitment with this person or persons, one based on truth, honesty, and love. Use the awareness gained by this exercise to steer the relationship on a clear, steady course. So, how do you peel apart layers? Because this is a person, they're not an onion. You can't, take a person in the kitchen and peel them like an onion. That would be all kinds of wrong. So in order to peel apart somebody, you have to figure out what bothers them, what makes them tick, what bothers them. Okay. The same applies to rebuilding the relationship with yourself. Examine your many layers of joys and sorrows, successes and failures, and think about how they're affecting your ability to love yourself and therefore to find love. Expose the false voices that tell you that you're unworthy and silence them. When you do, your true value will be revealed. Rebuild your life around unconditional love for yourself and invite in unconditional love from others. So the affirmation is I cut to the core of my relationships and consciously rebuild them. Okay. So this is about you loving yourself. I know it's a tower moment, but in the present, you need to learn how to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, and I'm not going to be trite or cliche and be like, if you don't love yourself, who else can love you? That's not what I'm trying to say. Is if you don't know what makes you happy, other people can't know what makes you happy. So, I mean, relationships are not about, impressing somebody and then feeling bad when we don't impress them. Relationships are about loving ourselves first. Because if you get into any kind of people pleasing at all, what's going to happen is it's just a recipe for failure. Because if you're not able to make someone happy, then you feel bad about yourself and you feel like you're not good enough. You may as well just make yourself happy. So you're rebuilding, okay? You're rebuilding. But in the past, we have take the lead, okay? So you were taking the lead with something in the past, Um, taking the lead with something in the past. This is a violet border. This is the wands, the 3 of wands. Enthusiasm, initiative, grounding, creativity. You are being bold, possibly learning a new skill in the past with a friend. In the future, we have seek, 9, seek. This looks like the traditional hermit card, okay? You're seeking something. Sometimes individuals become so engrossed in a relationship or in wanting a relationship that all perspective is lost. The relationship becomes their world and they lose sight of themselves. This card suggests that now is the time to take a step back, either from a relationship or from the desire for one, and go on an internal quest to rediscover yourself. One of my favorite sayings is, and this is not my favorite saying, this is coming from the book, there can't be a we until there's a me. If this resonates with you, it's time to have a dialogue with your higher self and your guides about who you are and what you really need in life. You may be surprised by the answers. This is also a good time to physically retreat from your busy life and relationships. Attending a spiritual retreat would be optimal. However, simply finding some time for solitude and introspection can be just as beneficial. Take a walk in nature, quiet your mind, and listen for messages from the birds and trees. Give yourself the gift of daily 5-minute meditations. Pull a card from the deck and sit with the card's image, seeking its deeper meaning for you about what role relationships play in your life. And I was laughing about some joke one of my friends made one time when they got upset at me. He said, "Let Scorpio sit under a tree." Okay. You may feel that you need assistance in your quest for greater understanding regarding what you need in a relationship. Or even how to handle a specific relationship. Find a guide or mentor who is knowledgeable in matters of the heart and converse with that person. Okay. So you're taking time for solitude in the future, but you may also be finding a guide who stays alone themselves. It's hard to be alone, but if we can find somebody that is already alone, they can be a model for us of what we need to do when we are alone. And sometimes that involves setting your own schedule, being your own boss. Some people work from home. There are different work from home jobs. Some people have a home telephone and a little headset, and they do all sorts of things with their job. Some people are telemarketers from home. I'm not saying you have to be a telemarketer. I'm just saying in the future, you'll be spending some time alone thinking, and that's okay. Now, spending time alone thinking doesn't necessarily mean, going online or watching movies. You being alone is you being alone. And I think that's why it mentioned nature. Granted, you don't have to be alone all the time, but we're never really alone. I mean, even when you're outside, you're around birds and all sorts of creatures and other people walking outside. So we're never really alone. Thank you.